A lawyer was spoken to yesterday.
do have sound. That's sound sorted. That's zoom sorted. There we go. We're all up and running. Have we got some peanuts out there? Got a couple? How many peanuts we got? We've got 7 thumbs up and we've got 17 peanuts. So throw a couple of more thumbs up and we'll... Do have sound? That's sound. Oh, sorted. That's me. That's me again. That sounds like me. That sounds like sorted. That's it. Well, that's the delay.
Yeah, it's better than what it was the other day.
Okay, that's a lot better then. We'll see how long it takes for the thumbs up to go up from when I first said it. Peter, why aren't you here? You disappeared. I'm playing your videos, you know. Well, I've got 18 watching, 11 thumbs up. You're allergic to peanuts. Well, everyone keep clear of Dave. He's got an allergy, so keep your distance. Hey, No Name. When's the last time you joined, No Name? Or are you half asleep? What time of the morning is it over there for you? Surf says I have no thumbs. How can you have no thumbs? You're thumbless. Is that better than being clueless? There we go. We got 11 thumbs, 18 watching. And going by what the thumbnail I put up for the show was, that's a radio, an early radio of a certain person that they used to broadcast something. And I'll grab all that. I'm waiting for Alan to get here for that, so I can't really start it without him because I can't do the reading very good. I can't do the talking very good at the moment either. Dogs don't have thumbs. Don't they? Yeah, they've got sort of like an extra digit on the side, but you don't call that a thumb. Now, and I don't know if Paul's put out the clue yet or not for use peanuts.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. Dora says I might be lurking, but have a nice stream. Okay, Dora, you got a meeting scheduled for the next 4 hours. Oh, I hate meetings.
Hey Terry, dogs have a dew claw. That's basically their thumb.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Little Bull's trying to pull our leg on that one.
Yep.
Some cats have thumbs. I don't like cats. Don't bring up cats.
Meow.
Terry doesn't like pussy.
Get out of the gutter.
It's called polydactylism. Oh, No Name's getting all technical now. Hey, little wolf goes meow. I know how I can make a dog go meow. Want to know?
Yeah.
You do? Well, you stick the dog in the freezer for a week, and then you take it out and put it through a bandsaw. Meow.
Oh no, poor little wolf.
And I know how I can make a cat go and a cat go wolf.
Dad jokes central.
Yeah. Pour a gallon of petrol over it, light it on fire, woof. Okay. I mean dad jokes, they're granddad jokes. I'm past dad jokes. Well, we might do flat Earth derpy stuff then while we're waiting for Alan. Does that sound like a plan? I'm not listening. I'm listening, not sleeping. I swear. No, don't swear. You're not allowed to swear, Mute. You know that. That was terrible. Everyone needs to dislike now. Oh, we've got a couple of bits of flat Earth stuff, derp stuff. Yeah, those are granddad jokes, yeah. Okay, which one would I start at? Did you know there's a flat Earth simulator game out? That was fairly new by the look of it. I'll just show that.
Someone posted a link to it in Gems one day, so I clicked on it to see what it was about.
Yeah, well, I've got it here, so I'll just press this and press that, and go to somewhere.
I really wouldn't call it a game, though. It's far from a game.
Well, I don't know. Guy with bearded lizard. Sounds good. Well, guy with bearded lizard, if you're subbed, you get a spanner. That goes with anyone else that's got a spanner out there. I hope you're not trying to cheat me by getting a spanner and pretending you're subbed. So if you say you've subbed, you'll get a spanner. Okay, I'll share that. Now, I haven't really looked at it, so this is raw observation of it. So it's called Flat Earth Simulator. I don't know what sound there is, so I'll be careful with the sound. That is the sound, so it's just visual.
The atmoplane. The atmoplane, or atmolayer, is a series of gas layers above the inhabited part of the Earth. If the Earth is finite, as shown in this model, the atmoplane gets thinner and less dense towards the edges, where the Arctic ice wall stops the atmoplane from flowing off the edge. If the infinite Earth hypothesis is true, the atmoplane would possibly extend as infinitely as the Earth does. The atmoplane is separated into the following layers. The tropolayer, where most of the regular aircraft travel, up to 11 miles. The stratolayer, the highest ever reached layer by humans that can be reasonably confirmed, up to 30 miles.
Imagine trying to play something like this.
The extent of the mesolayer and
well, it'd be like
are still debated.
You're thinking it's similar to those space games where you've got the planets and everything. Well, it's not really a game, but it's a simulator, a space simulator thing.
Elite Dangerous.
Their existence is assumed by the phenomenon of
no dome. Yeah, I can't see the dome, sir.
In a game, you get to do stuff, like push a button and make something work.
I don't know yet. Is my sound mucking up?
What the hell?
Mine. Okay.
32 miles and is located approximately 3,000 miles above the surface of the Earth.
That's no good, Terry.
The sun's area of light is similar.
What's no good?
Yeah, the sound was terrible, but it's gotten better.
Yeah, I just wondered what happened there. Well, I don't know if you're subbed yet, bearded lizard, but you got a spanner for now. But you better sub.
Similar to the spotlight of a searchlight. This means that only certain portions of the Earth are illuminated at a time. It also describes how night and day arise on a flat Earth. The apparent view of rising and setting are caused by perspective. Just as a flock of birds overhead will descend into the
Stingray had
horizon
anything to
as
do
they
with this, because
fly
he was
into
trying
the
to set
distance.
up a...
Together with the moon,
a
The
model.
sun rotates around a mysterious central point of rotation.
Well, there you go. If you, I'll check some YouTube channels later to see what's going on with it, to see if I'm actually somebody doing something with it. So I'll just have
So
to see.
Little Wolf said no, the game just sounds terrible.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the game sounds terrible. That's it.
Yeah. Arctic Reflection did a thing on it.
I might have had a look at the review of the game itself.
Yeah, he did a full review of it.
Okay, well, we'll have a look at that next. I keep forgetting what day of the week it is. It's Wednesday. On Saturday, we'll have a look at that. Okay, who we got here? We've got either 10 minutes of that. We've got McToon's debate with everyone's favourite chemo. You subscribed a while ago, Bearded Lizard. I didn't know that. Just don't remember my names because I haven't been streaming for bloody most of the year. There's that one. We've got. Oh, we could play. This is something Peter found with Marion Ross out of Happy Days. The daughter must be doing some sort of YouTube stuff, so I'll just see what this is. Only goes for 1:50, so we'll see what it's all about.
In another episode of What Would Marion Do?
Right.
And I had a question because I was looking at the sunset and it makes me, it's so perfectly, the horizon is just perfect out there.
Yeah.
And have you heard about people who think that the earth is flat?
Is what? Flat?
Is flat.
Oh, flat.
Yeah.
Flat.
What
yeah.
would you say to those flat earthers?
They've thought that for years and years and years and years.
Yeah.
In fact, when they tried to get a fleet of ships to go somewhere, they said, no, because you will fall off the edge. Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I'm so well educated that I realized that the globe was round, the earth is round, and the seasons come up and down, and the ocean is out there, and then the next morning the sun comes up, and so everything is round.
Yeah.
There's nothing flat. Nobody's going to fall over the edge over there, you know.
I mean, which is, thank goodness, right?
But if you saw a ship and you saw it disappear, it would occur to you
that maybe
that it fell off the edge over there, you know. So
so we understand everybody. That's the point. I mean, well, there you go. Now we know.
Pancakes are flat. No. In the morning.
In the morning, and then not so much.
Well, you could roll them up,
True.
and then it's dessert. Well, did you get a picture of a sunshine?
That's the end of the video. It's a cake pop.
Oh. Nope. Not supposed to see that yet. I was just filling in time for you, Alan.
Hang on, still eating breakfast.
Oh, sorry. Well, don't talk with your mouth half full. Fill it up. Where are we? I was just using some flat earth stuff that I had here. What's today's scientist? Today's scientist would investigate your personality by getting you to stare at meaningless pictures and asking what you see in them. He is... I should know this. I definitely should know this. I wish I had a clue. Can I buy a clue? Somebody's already guessed it.
A good clue would be that someone's guessed it.
Yes, somebody's already guessed. I just looked up and I noticed it. It's maybe because it's the name that I wouldn't have remembered. Wouldn't have rolled off my tongue easily. Because I was thinking of another guy too I can't think of his name now off the top of my head. Another psychoanalyst type. Freud, is it? Is it Freud? Sigmund Freud?
No. Well, Freud is one, but yeah, my spelling attempt guess was pretty bad, wasn't it? I'm sure you could work out who I really meant.
Well, let me know when you're ready, Alan, because I can start the topic.
Yeah, I think I can start now. I've still got a cup of tea to drink, but
Right. Okay. Okay, is that fitting in? I might have to change it. Change it to that. So it fits in out there. Now, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but from all the research I could find, this person seemed to have the main hand in AM radio after the geez, my brain's gone fuzzy tonight. What's the name of the bloke? We can't pronounce his first name.
You mean radio telephony?
Yeah, but I'm
Giuliano Marconi.
Yeah, Marconi. Shit. Yeah, after Marconi with his radio, because his radio waves would.
He did what?
Yeah, I was going to say it, Alan.
Damn.
Yeah, but I was going to say something.
Sorry, Terry.
Marconi's radio signal, because of, you can explain the reason why, but it spread out more and it was always being interfered or overlapping with everyone else's. And then till AM frequency came out, it was more directional or more precise. You can correct me on the explanation.
No, none of that at all.
Okay.
Really, because you're kind of really mixing words there that don't belong mixed together.
Okay.
But Marconi's original system was what they called was wideband, so it was lots of different frequencies, and it just basically switched the transmitter on and off. So when the transmitter was turned on, you would hear static coming out. Yeah, you'd hear the static buzz come out of the receiver, and when the transmitter was off, you wouldn't really hear anything coming out. And then but what amplitude modulation does, amplitude modulation. Well, I suppose we're going to get there, aren't we?
But, yes, that's what we're up to.
Yeah, because I was just about to launch into an explanation of what amplitude modulation was.
Well, I've got documentation for all that too, so we can go through that.
But I suppose.
Well, my basic understanding was. See, Alan, my basic understanding of it, not getting into the technical detail, it was that when the AM radio came along, it actually refined the signal, because the signals from the first radios were just all over the place. Correct. Whether or not they were mixed or multiple or whatever, they weren't refined. That's how I basically put it.
Well, they occupy the same information occupies lots and lots of different frequencies.
Mm.
Whereas amplitude modulation, amplitude modulation, yeah, it's a more refined system that allows you to essentially put more information into a smaller space. But of course, the biggest problem with developing AM radio was the fact that we didn't have oscillators. And without oscillators, it's actually quite hard to do anything other, it's quite hard to do anything other than wideband radio. Because you need a way of generating a signal with a specific frequency.
Yeah, in the stream homework section, in the admin section, is where I left an article relating to everything to do with all that, or nearly everything. So that's what you can help me with. Go through that for certain parts of the information. But this bit here is to do with the person that broadcasts a signal. So if you've got this to read, are you able to read this? If you've got
is that from the?
That's in the admin. That's in admin for the stream topic stuff.
Yeah. I found the link. So let me just pull the.
Have you finished your breakfast yet?
Yes. Let me just drink a bit of my tea. Sorry. Sorry, I'm getting system resource issues here.
Swear jar, Jay.
So let's.
Is that 40? Is that 40
I think
degrees?
I could probably get away with.
We're in metric here, Jay, and surf. Well, low 20s. That could be metric.
Okay, I shall have to drink my tea during it, so I might have to pause occasionally for.
Yeah.
Right. When you're ready, then.
Well, I've got everything shared and showing out there.
Okay, lovely. The father of radio, Reginald Fessenden. It's a cold, blistering night in the middle of the Atlantic. You've been contracted by the United Fruit Company on a shipping barge to haul tons of produce halfway around the world. At the helm of your ship is a single wireless radio, one of the first to be installed for maritime operations. The only sounds out of it are the slow, steady boops and beeps of Morse code. But then something interesting happens. Your ship receives a signal in Morse code. Be prepared for something of great interest to follow. You wait for the next series of beeps, but instead of a beep, you hear the first human voice transmitted from hundreds of miles away. You're literally hearing history being made. Is this an angel speaking to you from above? O Holy Night begins its soft melody from a violin nowhere in sight. This isn't an angel playing, it's the father of radio at work, Reginald Fessenden. Many inventors are lost through the sands of times, and Reginald is no exception. Intensely criticised and mocked for his theories and forced to fight for his inventions, this man helped pave the way for our wireless technologies of today. He deserves recognition. The father of radio was born on the 6th of October 1866 in Quebec, Canada. His mother was a minister in the Church of England, and Reginald was expected to walk in her footsteps as a church minister or teacher. Fessenden had other ideas. His mother said there was no future in such dreams. Boy, was she wrong. Off to New York. Reginald was a quick study, but never completed his high school studies. Instead, he chose to move to New York in 1886 with the hope of gaining employment with the Edison Company. Edison eventually took Reginald on after many denials and sent the man to work laying underground electrical cables in the heart of the city. Fessenden's work ethic and brilliance soon shone through, and he was promoted in 1886 as Edison's head chemist in New Jersey. It was here that Reginald's natural aptitude for science and mathematics started to flourish. For the next 4 years, Reginald honed his skills in the sciences. Then Edison's company hit a snag of financial issues in 1890 and had to lay off some of its staff. Fessenden was on that list. Thankfully, Reginald's skills were well known by this time, and he was picked up to work for George Westinghouse. After working at Westinghouse, Reginald became head of the newly created electrical engineering department at the University of Pennsylvania, again without finishing his high school education. During his time at university, Westinghouse agreed to make instruments and machines for Reginald to test his wireless technology theories, and Fessenden remained available to Westinghouse for research. This provided the perfect opportunity for Fessenden to work on his studies of electromagnetic waves as the world was in a mad dash to improve on the Morse telegraph system. It was during this period that Fessenden and his assistant, Mr. Kittner, made a discovery. While tinkering with a transmitter and receiver, Kittner accidentally jammed one of the Morse keys. The produced sound wailed through the receiver to Reginald in the other room. Fessenden realised that if this howl could be carried wirelessly from transmitter to receiver, couldn't the same be said for human voices? What Reginald needed was a way to produce high-frequency waves which could carry these sounds. Fessenden theorised that you could broadcast information embedded on a high-frequency wave, and a receiver could then isolate the broadcast from the carrier wave, leaving only the intended sound. All he was lacking was the high-frequency electromagnetic waves to make this happen. Reginald had developed the theory for amplitude modulation. And basically with that, you use a high-frequency signal to carry the wave, and you put your complex lower frequency signal mixed with it, so that the amplitude of the high frequency wave is adjusted to match the amplitude of the low frequency one. Reginald realised he would need more money than his university salary offered to build a generator that could produce high-frequency electromagnetic waves. He decided to leave his post at the University of Pennsylvania and pitched the idea of radio telegraph equipment to the United States Weather Bureau for improved weather forecasting. With the job won, Fessenden could now develop transmitters and receivers while also working on his theories with the US Weather Bureau's generators. It was at Fessenden's new lab at Cobb Island, Maryland, where he started to experiment with wireless transmissions to a receiving station 50 miles away in Arlington, Virginia. Here, Reginald and his assistant took advantage of a new generator to perfect the transmission of Morse code transmissions. On December 23rd, Reginald added a microphone to his setup and telegraphed 1, 2, 3, 4. Is it snowing where you are, Mr. Thiessen? If so, telegraph back and let me know. The message was received and Thiessen telegraphed back. Fessenden hurried to write at his desk about the event. For context, this happened a year before Marconi transmitted Morse code from England to Signal Hill in Newfoundland. Reginald was way ahead of his time. Reginald worked to improve the system he had created over the next 2 years. He made major advances in receiver designs and developed 2 new detectors, a Barretta detector and an electrolytic detector. The generator was modulated by placing a carbon microphone in the antenna lead, and the message was sent using a spark gap transmitter. While this did transmit a message, the receiver heard the hiss of the spark's arc. The work that Reginald accomplished here didn't go unnoticed. 2 wealthy investors by the name of Hay Walker Jr. and Thomas Given would approach Fessenden to finance his dreams of wireless radio communications. The trio formed a new company called National Electrical Signaling. It was here that Reginald would finally bring O Holy Night to the masses. The father of radio. The goal of the new company was to establish a 2-way transatlantic communication system between a station in Brant Rock, USA, and another in Machrihanish, Scotland. And I know how to pronounce that because that's still an RAF station. While Marconi had successfully completed the first transatlantic transmission in 1901, it was only possible in one direction. It was during this time that the father of radio dove into the development of a high-frequency alternator to power his needed electromagnetic waves. He had an alternator delivered in 1903, but could only operate at 10 kilohertz. Another alternator was produced in 1905, but again could not operate above 10 kilohertz. Instead of wasting more money, Reginald decided to build his own alternator using parts from the existing devices. His high-frequency alternator was able to produce his needed 75 kilohertz frequencies with 500 watts of power output. This device, completed in 1906, would allow him to transmit the continuous electromagnetic systems that his system required. Unfortunately for Reginald, his plans came crashing down. Development work on the Scotland Tower literally collapsed on December the 6th, 1906, while the construction crew was working on the steel guy ropes. Both Walker Jr. and Given decided that rebuilding the station was just too costly. The project was thus abandoned. Instead of scrapping all his efforts, Reginald had an idea. He had an alternator to produce his continuous waves. Now he just needed a set of receivers to see if his message could be received. On December the 24th, 1906, at 9 p.m. EST, Reginald transmitted the first human voice over the radio from Brant Rock, Massachusetts, to ships in the Atlantic owned by the United Fruit Company. Reginald began his broadcast with a recording of Handel's Largo, then played the Christmas classic O Holy Night on his violin. He concluded the broadcast with a famous passage from the Bible, Luke 2:14. Glory to God in the highest heaven, and on earth peace to those on whom his favour rests. Then he bid his audience good night, asking those who had heard the broadcast to write to him. The response was overwhelming. The broadcast was heard by all of those who tuned in, and Reginald Fessenden was officially the first human voice ever heard over the radio. The gift that keeps on giving. Reginald gave the world one of the greatest gifts ever on that Christmas Eve. Human voices could now be transmitted over vast distances with wireless radio. As we've seen today, this has transformed entire industries and methods of communication. With his work complete, Fessenden waited for the money to start rolling in, but a different story started to unfold. His wealthy business partners, Mr. Walker Jr. and Mr. Given, ended up selling Reginald's patents to American companies like RCA. The father of radio spent a good portion of his later life fighting for recognition and revenue from his inventions that were making other companies rich. Until 2008, Reginald wasn't even listed in the Encyclopedia of Canada. The only mention of the man was under his mother, Clementina. Even today, his list of achievements spans a measly 2 paragraphs on Historica Canada's website. Despite the way history has tried to forget such a brilliant man, his works live on today. Reginald pushed his radio and wireless technology into new territory that no one could rightly see. Without his insight and intuitive understanding of electromagnetic waves, we might still be relying on Morse code or some other primitive communications technology today. Reginald Fessenden was a brilliant inventor and deserves more recognition than he was given. He held over 250 patents without ever finishing his high school education. This man needs to be on the front pages of our history books, not forgotten. It's inventors and engineers like Reginald that truly make this world a better place. Rest in peace, Reginald. Your work is still alive all around us.
That's it. Thank you, Alan. I don't know where this little story is, but there was a story somewhere I read. I've got most of the story. It was to do with the Titanic, and they were trying to send broadcasts out or something, and to do with the type of signal, they were getting interference from other people in the area, and they were trying to tell other people to what were they doing? I forget now. Something to do with they couldn't send the signal or something, or receive the signal. And I don't know what type of radio they had for that.
Part of the problem was they wanted to send they wanted to send the messages for the passengers.
Yeah, that was it.
That was because that was making them lots of money.
Yeah.
And they basically told the ship that was sending out the ice warnings to shut up so that they could transmit, because obviously spark transmitters. We did this last time when we talked about Marconi.
Yeah, but I didn't mention. Yeah, well, it was written in the thing to do with
Marconi.
that. Yeah.
Yes.
Right, now this
because spark gap transmitters are wide band, and so you can only have you can't have multiple channels because They're all over the place.
Yeah, but now that we've into the AM modulation frequencies, that wouldn't have been a problem.
Well, no. You need a different type of transmitter that uses that, because you as the previous article said, you can kind of get away. You can get away with putting AM on a spark transmitter. It's just that it's really difficult, and you don't get a very good result for voice. It's fine for using with telegraphy though. So Morse, the Morse code, because Morse code is still amplitude modulation, but it just uses really high levels of amplitude modulation. But for lots of multiple stations on different frequencies, yeah, you need some sort of oscillator. You need some way of making the radio frequency carrier wave be narrowband, not wideband, which was what was spoken about in the thing I just read, where he had to, because we didn't have oscillators at that point. So he had to develop some way of making the high frequency, the radio frequency waves to send out. So he did that by generating an AC generator, like an alternator. Literally, he made an alternator that, instead of doing 50 hertz, say, like we have in our mains, it did 75,000 hertz. So as long as you're spinning that alternator at the correct speed, you get 75 kilohertz out of it, and you can use that to make a nice narrowband carrier frequency.
Yeah, I'm showing the WikiLand or WikiWand or whatever it is article about.
Yeah. See, if the signal in that diagram is changing nice and smoothly because it's sinusoidal, and the amplitude of it is such that you'll notice the carrier wave frequency for the AM doesn't go to 0. Yeah. Now, when you start doing wireless, if you're going to do wireless telegraphy, what happens is you make the signal amplitude essentially bigger, so that the AM amplitude goes to 0, so that you've got carrier wave on and carrier wave off, essentially. But no, well, sorry. No, that's wrong. I'm talking out my butt again.
I'm just seeing
It's
what else.
too early. I've only just got up. I haven't even finished my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Sorry. For carrier wave, for this to work into a crystal receiver so that you still hear it, what you do is you have your carrier wave, you have your you have an audio signal that you pick a tone, so like 1 kilohertz, say, which is middle C, and you modulate you get out exactly what you see in the AM thing, and then you switch that on and off to make your Morse code.
No, that's getting into vacuum tubes yet. We don't want that.
Well, that was still pre-World War One, but
yeah. Oh, that's for next topic when we develop that.
But yeah, I mean, none of this stuff really starts working until we get thermionic valves, because you really need amplifiers and oscillators.
Okay. What's that diagram of? One of the crude pre-vacuum tube AM transmitters, a Telefunken arc transmitter from 1906. The carrier wave is generated. By 6 electric arcs in the vertical tubes, connected to a tuned circuit. Modulation is done by the large carbon microphone, cone-shaped, in the antenna lead. Okay. Wow. I didn't see a real life one of them, it's just a picture. No, that's got a vacuum tube on it, that one. There was a
like
section.
I said, pretty much everything that's going to be modulated carrier wave is going to want to have some sort of valve on it, because they're really difficult to do without them. Like you say, you either do fancy multiple sparks and tune, or you do a high power RF alternator.
And there seems to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 types of analog modulation. And the AM was the first, so the others came later.
Yeah, some of those are variations. I mean, for example, SSB is a variation on AM modulation.
Okay. I think we're at a bit of a... I think we're up to date with the AM for this week. And then we can see what we get out of it for next week. Because you've got everything from two-way radios, amateur radio, shortwave radio, citizen band radio, aircraft radio.
Yeah, they're all just like yeah, they're all AM radio. It's just where they tend to use it in the frequency. Yeah, what set of frequencies they transmit on, and how much power they use. We'd be waiting a really long time for Terry's SDR demonstration.
What's SDR?
Software defined radio. He says reaching into the drawer in his desk and pulling out his SDR stick that is actually a well, it's an SDR stick that was built to decode built to specifically decode digital TV signals. But they'll work. But SDRs will work over a very wide frequency band, and allow you to do really clever stuff. And if we really want to find out about SDR, we can bring up a really good video on it, but it's about 20 minutes.
Ah, okay. I was going to cherry pick a bit of McToon's and everyone's favourite Poe chemo, but time-wise, I'd have to cherry
That would
pick
be fun.
that. But I'd have to cherry pick bits out of it, or just have a taste of it. I shut the wrong.
Do it. His idiot is amazing.
Yeah, I won't do all of it. Well, I just closed the tab down accidentally. Now I've got to go and find it again. It's here. There we go. Pause that for now. And then we've got a video of Flat Earth episode 1 of Reckless Ben, the one that had to do with the duck suit incident. 8 minus 4 equals... Yes, Renee and me, I know the answer to that. Alright, we'll just do that. Transition that. Be better.
Renee, we don't have any flirts to play with either, mate.
Terry, I stuck a link to the video of what SDR is and how it works in Stream Topic.
I'll leave that for next Saturday.
Yeah, he's the bloke that MC Toon had on, doing the tests on the 5G killer lap post.
Oh, that episode. Oh, okay.
It's that bloke.
Ah.
So, yeah, won't be any problem sharing it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's for next Saturday. We can.
Yeah, but that's a modernish, but that's modern stuff. But it might be worth chucking it out there for people so that people get to see it.
Did we cover how Marconi infringed on several Tesla's patents to get his radio working? Death wants to know about that, Alan.
Oh. Thing was, I didn't think any of that was actually put in place until the 1940s by bitter and twisted American judges.
Oh, Miro said, Death, I mentioned it, but everyone ignored me. Sorry, Miro.
Yeah, sorry, Miro. I know Miro comes, is from the same part of the world as Tesla was from.
Okay, we'll jump forward a bit on tunes.
That we have the bending of space-time, okay? So, again, the ideas will continue because that's how your worldview works. Science develops and continues until a better idea or an equation to fit your model comes along. Over to you.
So, yeah, it didn't say that mass doesn't attract mass. That's not what Einstein said. He gave a further explanation of it, but mass still attracts mass.
No, that's the idea, McToon. Yeah. The idea is that to explain why water sticks to the surface or is pulled, it needs a force. Yes?
Yeah.
But then obviously, like I say, Einstein came along with a better idea, okay, a better equation that explains the bending of space-time.
Yes.
See?
Yeah.
So obviously, what we've got
please,
now.
Stop. We all know that Einstein's equation is only better when you're near very, very massive objects. Other than that, Newton's equations are give just as good results as Einstein's equations give.
Well, we'll just do jumps.
Is a picture of mass attracting mass. This is not science, McToon. You would have to show physically objects moving.
Do you think
towards
that
one
all
another in a
science
vacuum.
has to be on YouTube?
No, you would have to show. You'd have to record it, put it somewhere where others can see this phenomenon of mass attracting mass.
That's not actually how the scientific community does things.
I know. That's what I was saying to you. I said to you originally.
None of us in the scientific community give a damn about your opinion about how it is done. If you don't like
it, you're being very aggressive now, McToon. I did say to you initially. I said to you initially, this is how your science is done. Somebody thinks of an idea, they write it down like you've just done now.
Yep.
You write it down. You don't show the practical demonstration. And then somebody may come up with a better idea or another idea, but nothing will ever be shown to support your idea other than what you've written down.
But here's the beauty of how the current science community does things. Somebody publishes something, right? And there's an invitation that comes with it to prove them wrong, to show that they're wrong. So if you wanted to disprove this this experiment by Jens Gundlach and Stefan Merkowitz, there's an invitation to you to set it up your way, to do something similar, to find what's going on and see if there's an error in what they did and prove them wrong. And here's the cool thing: you get all the street cred that they used to have, man. And you
but
would
that's
get...
not how science in the real world works, because what we're looking for, McToon, is natural phenomenon in the physical world. So we would, as
he's changing the thing of what was just said about somebody bringing out something, and then we can refute it or can get our own observation of it.
Humans, scientists, people in general, anyone, we would have to see something in nature, and we would have to question that thing. We would say, "Hey,
mass
how do we
attracting mass
explain that?
happens."
What is our hypothesis for what we can see?" Now, we can't see anything other than a guy that you say has written something down. There's no phenomenon here. There's nothing here to investigate.
The phenomenon
other than
is mass attracting mass.
Again, that's your words written down. There is no observed phenomenon here, McToon. So therefore, there is no need for science. What you do need is mathematics
of the torsion bar.
Yeah, what you'll need in this case is mathematics to make equations to fit the model. But if you want to show practically that mass attracts mass, it's not just an idea, obviously you would have to show this natural phenomena in nature.
And it's happened, right? In this,
that is showing it in nature.
You're saying that on this piece of paper we can see the natural phenomenon.
He's trying to say that you can find things fall to the ground, so that's something in nature.
Yeah.
The thing is, these scientists have done demonstrations. They have done the experiments. Just because chemo hasn't seen the experiment doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Yeah. Just because you can't find just because there's no YouTube of Cavendish performing his experiments, because I don't know, maybe it's before the invention of photography, let alone cinematography. Yeah.
So that's where chemo's wrong with gravity and scientific. Sorry.
I say he also has a really, really annoying, whiny voice that makes me just want to kill him anyway.
Well, I can always fast forward his voice by
Speeding
him up a bit.
Speed him up. Make it even worse, I think.
There we go.
But look,
some people say
the presupposition is valid until you can demonstrate the atmosphere does not act like a lens. Remember, if we can practically demonstrate, I can show you a practical demonstration.
So here we go.
A practical one, real world demonstration of the atmosphere acting like a lens, and we can replicate the sun and ships and buildings disappearing. Let me get it up for you.
Yeah. So the effects of atmospheric refraction have been quantified, and I gave you the link to that.
Yeah. Yeah, but what you have, your scriptures versus a practical demonstration. Remember the hypothesis stage.
That's not a
remember,
scripture.
if experiment disagrees with hypothesis, it's wrong.
Yeah, now, sure. Now you just need to show that once.
We have. I'm going to post you a video here. Now we have a hypothesis that the atmosphere acts like a lens and causes the sun to remain the same size, causes objects to disappear and buildings to disappear. That's our hypothesis. Remember now.
What are you presupposing in that?
I'm not presupposing MC2. That's part of the hypothesis.
You are presupposing some things. You are presupposing that the sun should shrink in size because it's close. You're presupposing a close and local sun.
Our hypothesis is if the Earth is flat and the atmosphere acts like a lens, like a magnifying glass, then we should expect certain things, like what we see in reality. Now, obviously, if experiment disagrees with hypothesis, MC2, then we're wrong. You don't even have an experiment. Look at this here. I'm going to post you now. I've just sent it to you in your chat.
Just pause for a moment. All right. If he says, like, the atmosphere acts like magnifying glass, well, unfortunately, the images formed in magnifying glasses don't remain the same size, Chemo.
I was going to say, so that's a zoom lens that will allow the size of the sun to remain constant, because that would have to be a zoom lens, that works differently for every different position on the planet.
Yeah, there is no magnifying glass that makes an image that is constant in size no matter where the object is. There isn't such a lens.
No. I mean, you can build one, but it's pretty complex, and it's going to have tens of elements in it, and it's going to have to move quite a lot to move, to keep the size the same. In really complex, and in really complex ways as well, because obviously you have not only have to change the focal length, but you have to keep it in focus as well.
Fine, I totally accept that you reject science.
No, don't be like that now, MC2. I haven't been like that to you, right? It's nothing to do with that. The idea is that we have a hypothesis, okay?
No, but you're rejecting science is what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
Then we have to conduct an experiment. Now, you haven't provided an actual physical demonstration of your idea.
Well,
you've written it down.
I've seen this. I think I've seen this before with this demonstration.
You've written it down, but you haven't presented.
Yeah, I don't care that you don't like the way that science is done. I don't care.
No, not about science. About you. I don't like the way that you are doing things, MC2. You yourself
scientists
present
don't care.
A demonstration of what you're talking about. You, not anyone else.
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, I don't need to. That's the beauty of science. I don't need to do it myself. If it's been done, I don't have to. Now, I've done several things, and we can cover them. But
if it's been done and you've done it, can we see your practical? Like we're now showing on the screen here.
Hold on a second. Wait. You did not do this one. Okay, so
no,
off the table.
I just said,
off the table. I completely reject it because you didn't do it. Sorry, you have to do it yourself only.
You can provide your scientist experiment, not the paper, or yourself. I said either you're someone else or you. Doesn't matter who. Just show the experiment.
Yeah, and I did. I showed the paper. Yep.
You showed a paper, piece of paper. Yeah.
That's how science is done. It's not
the
done.
Same way
it's not done.
Religion is written down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, but religion is not testable. We already covered that.
Well, where is your test? Let's have a look at your test.
At my test of what?
Whatever you're claiming.
Okay, well here, I'll show you. How you measure. This is how you measure water, whether it's flat or curved. So let's see.
Okay, remember, this is based on the presupposition that the Earth has atmosphere. Have you shown that it doesn't act like a lens?
Yes, yeah, in previous papers. So here it is. This is Jesse Kozlowski. He measured a lake, and like I said, he went on one side, established a certain elevation above the water on one side, went half a mile away, established a certain elevation on the other side, and then measured it. And it's hard to see on the screen here, but if you just Google Jesse Kozlowski flat level lake, you'll find it.
This is optical observations, which anything could happen because of the atmosphere acting like the way it does.
Well, so you say, but the effects of the atmosphere have been quantified.
We would need a practical force the line measurement to show that there is no elevation drop, or there is an elevation drop.
Well,
basically,
it's been done. As I said, it is known and been quantified that the atmosphere raises distant objects. And so,
I hear what you're saying. But for you, basically, what I'm saying is that this could be put down to just an illusion optically. We need a physical contraption to show that what you're actually saying is true. It could be a mirage, for all you know.
Well, a mirage typically includes reflection and not refraction.
That's just the opinion. Again, we have problems like that all day long. This could be that. Unless we have that actual physical measurement, we will never know.
Well, this is the measurement. So here we go. Let me just go over it so that at least we can cover it, right? So here he put out the distance there. He found a nice part of the lake that's calm. He set up across there 2 pegs. He set up a level. He measured above it. He put his target there. You see the target? He also got a GNSS receiver, so he knows the exact coordinates of it. Measured the height of his target and his theodolite. Then he here again is the height of the theodolite right there in the center. And I'll scroll down. There's a bunch of really nice pictures. And here's the cool thing: never once was the target at 0. It was always below, And refraction is known to cause things to appear slightly higher. So since it's still below, even though refraction makes things higher, we know that it had to drop on the far side. So that's how you'd measure it. So here it is. The final numbers here. I'll zoom in a little. Too much. Let's see if I can get that. There it is. He did a total of 6 measurements. And what he does is he flips his theodolite back and forth to remove any possibility of collimation errors. And then you average them out. And he found over a distance of a half mile, or it's actually 0.48 miles, that there's a 0.15 foot drop to the other side. So there you go. That's how you measure the curvature of water.
But as I say, there is an alternative.
We don't listen to his alternative.
Explanation, and a practical one for that matter. I mean,
It's
what
been
you're
tested
looking
and
at,
fallen false, though.
But again, that's what you're saying based on an optical observation, which could be miraging, for all you know. You haven't manipulated any variables to be sure.
That's just a measurement. You don't have to manipulate.
You manipulate the variables. Okay. What's his next argument then? Talk. Oh, what have we got here?
Yeah, so these are just various. Start from this one there. As you can see, they try to replicate the objects falling at the same rate. And what we find is that objects do not fall at the same rate. You can put it on fast speed if you want, or just flick through it. The best one is a long tube, because you might want to use a longer tube.
Oh yeah, definitely longer.
Yeah, longer tube. So check this out. So when you go to 5 minute 26 seconds, 5 minutes 20 seconds, there's a long tube, and because they're so sneaky, so you're 5 minutes 29 or 28, somewhere around there, because you get a good shot of that one. So watch what happens. Let me explain. So when the guy recording it realizes that they don't fall at the same rate, he pulls the camera away to try to.
Now you did this yourself.
No. Watch the video. What?
Oh, I'm sorry. If you didn't do this yourself, you can't allow it by your own rules, Spurs. What are you talking about?
I'm saying the observations.
No. You didn't do this. You didn't do this. Your own rules.
That,
You can't show this if you didn't do it, Spurs.
Yeah, but you saw that, yeah?
I did. But here's the deal. What part of that was natural? Is that tube found in nature?
No.
Okay. So by your own rules, we can't even look at that. So
this wouldn't be science, no. But this is your science. This is what you would say is science, right?
His argument is about nature and natural stuff and all that.
Yeah.
And when he throws a video,
playing Chemo's game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's so confusing there because you didn't do it. And
no, I didn't do
that
this,
is your, but that is your.
Idea. Remember, it's just an idea.
I'm making you be consistent with your own rules. Those are not found in nature, therefore you don't accept them, and you did not do them, therefore you won't accept them. So, Man, that's embarrassing for you, isn't it? To not
But
be
you
able
don't
to even
accept-
use your
you
own
don't accept
evidence
that.
because it doesn't match your own standards of evidence.
So you don't accept that video, no?
Do you have anything?
I'm just saying, do you not accept those experiments there?
It does look pretty interesting. Now, here's the deal. I'll go back to this because I got no problem with it. Now, I understand that you will reject all of this to be consistent with yourself.
No, I'm just saying, I don't mind if you don't accept them.
So now
I don't accept them.
So here's the question now. That my first question is, did it say the pressure that they were able to get in here? Did you
It was a vacuum.
Yeah, how much vacuum? What was the actual pressure in the end?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
What should it be?
Well, he didn't do the experiment, so he doesn't know, does he?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of outside of an organization like NASA with their multi-million-dollar vacuum facility that the BBC television kept.
The one Brian Cox did.
The one Brian Cox did. It's really hard to get enough of a vacuum that you can drop feathers without them, without some differential drag down the length of it because of the quill and the feathers at the other end.
And if you watch while the feather's dropping, hi guys, by the way.
Oh, hey, Monk.
It's tumbling in a way that indicates that there's still air in there. So
Yeah.
it's not a very low vacuum. It's just low pressure.
Yeah. Because I think the feather in the Brian Cox video, it stayed at the same orientation all the way down, didn't it?
Yep, it doesn't. They don't rotate. The feathers don't rotate.
Yeah.
They just drop.
You'd expect that if it picked up rotation while it was being dropped, that it would continue to rotate. If it was dropped straight, it shouldn't rotate at all. This one is flapping. You can see it. It goes through the vertical alignment, stays there for longer than it does sideways. When it goes sideways, it flips.
Yeah.
So there's drag on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, Chemo won't accept the Brian Cox video. He says it's all faked because obviously it shows something he doesn't believe in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is his definition of it must be faked.
Yes.
His justification.
But it wasn't his video, and what was natural about it?
No.
Going by his own rules. So what are we up to now?
I managed to miss the entire long, boring discussion where he went backwards and forwards about calling the papers that MC Toon was showing just fairy tales? It's not actually a video.
No, we're just
I'm glad we skipped it because that was just mind-blowingly dull.
Yeah. No, we're just cherry picking bits and pieces as flat earthers like to do. So.
If you want to see how horrible he is, he did actually pick on Toon's kid.
Oh no, I don't think we want to go down there. Okay, so we haven't got a lot to go left.
Was that him or was that the previous one with FTFE? I know he did that too. I stopped watching just after this, but switched over into an audiobook because it was boring me.
Okay, we'll just see what the last bit is.
A review of that.
Sure. Now,
yeah, like I said, we've never seen full circle navigation, so as we understand.
Yeah, so, all right, well, let's just have this while we read. While I read a few more here.
Rocket Cam, yeah, I posted a few of these in the Flat Earth places because they said, where's an uncut video of rockets taking off and going into space? And I found heaps of them. So I don't know where they think that they couldn't find any. I found it, there was a multitude of them.
I guarantee somebody in the Flat Earth community has made that claim that it doesn't exist, and they're all just running with it.
Yeah.
They don't do research.
Yeah, well, there's no direct flights from Australia to Southern America or South Africa, are there either?
No, it's all a lie, and they're actually going up over the North Pole.
Yeah, apart from the ones you can actually book tickets on and get on and fly.
Yeah. But have you noticed that like all of the flight tracking software, they stop tracking them after they go offshore so that they can turn around and go a different way?
Yeah, but now Flight Radar 24's got all that.
Yeah, I've been wondering for ages why they didn't just put the GPS feeds in.
Because they have to pay, because they were having to pay for it.
Yeah.
And they and if you wanted it, you had to pay the 20. You had to, if you wanted to see that, you had to pay for their top tier membership. Okay.
Which is fair enough. If they're having to pay for the data, then they're going to pass that on to
I mean,
the consumers.
If you want people to pay for your product over the free version that you offer, then you've got to have something that's not in the free version, haven't you? So whether they pay for it or not, it's the satellite GPS data. Okay, we make that a premium product. It's business. It's like let's make people pay the £20 a month that we would like them to pay us to run this service. I see nothing personally. I see nothing wrong with it. It's
business is business.
Business is business. It's nice of them that they let us have half an hour of what they do. Let us have half an hour of.
Yep.
At a time. And you can load it straight back up. There's not like there's a delay between it. It's just that you have to reload the page every half an hour. Seems
Which, if you're sitting there watching it for more than half an hour, well, some people do, I guess. You're going to notice when it stops, so you just hit the refresh and away you go again.
Yeah.
It's not exactly hard.
No. No, and usually radar operators are actually limited to about half an hour, to about half an hour at a time, because that's about for how long they can concentrate on it for. And then they go and have a sort of 10-minute rest, and then they get another half an hour on there. Because I know quite a few radar operators, oddly.
I imagine you do.
I will finish this off.
Let's see. Thank you, B-Ball. Or sorry, Brady Photography. Remnant Art says, is using the toilet successfully are also part of the muddle.
I think he's reading the chat, so I think from now on.
Sorry, is the what?
Yeah,
is successfully using the toilet part of the muddle.
Part of the muddle. Well, some people used to tell us that the way the toilet would flush or the way the water would run down the toilet is an indicator.
That was never true, though, right? So,
of course not. No, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's see. Geistview for $5 says, spurs the atmosphere. Lens FE argument fails because you have to be outside.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just reading the super chats from there on. Yeah. Oh, that'll do you for that. Have we got time? Got 15 minutes. Well, the only thing else I've got here is from this Reckless Ben. So I could fast forward it to play at a bit normal speed.
Soon did do another one today about 5Gs again.
Yeah, well, I'm not playing too many videos because we're... how are you off for derp and questions tonight, Paul?
Yeah, I've got a little bit.
Okay, so your little bit plus that bit. I don't know if I've got a Pie Parrot story. I'll have to check to see if she's dropped one yet.
Yeah, I think I saw a link to a new Pie Parrot just before we came in.
Is she still doing the Adam story? Because that was supposed to be finishing up soon, wasn't it?
The one that I saw the link to was a retake on the Three Bears, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I know the Adam story. I thought that was, but we'll follow on that if we could have. Okay. This goes for 10 minutes, but I don't know how I could shorten it any further. We'll probably go here.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah. We could just jump to there. We'll jump to that bit.
My name's Nathan.
Whoop.
Testing everything, independently verifying if what we're being told about the shape of the Earth is true or untrue.
My name is Ben Fisher. I'm a mechanical engineering graduate student from the
You think the music in the background's just YouTube music?
No idea.
What is this guy talking about? But then a few months later, I had been studying applied neuroscience, biochemistry, epigenetics with a gentleman who was probably the smartest man I've ever met. And he told me to look into flat Earth, and I couldn't call him stupid because he was the smartest man I'd ever met. This is called the azimuthal equidistant map or the Gleason's map. I don't know if this is 100% accurate. I just know it's 1,000 times more accurate than a spinning ball. The preponderance of evidence is overwhelming. I mean, I've got over 150 proofs, reasons that I believe the Earth is flat and stationary, memorized alphabetically.
Abyssal plane, accelerometer, Aries failure, airplane level flight, Elias effect, ambient life in the firmament, ancient civilization.
My current beliefs are that the Earth is round. It's just an obvious fact. I don't even think we need to be out here proving that it's round because I think it's obvious. Obviously, we're going to be testing that today. I'm excited to hear what Nathan has to say. I can't believe that Blake is actually open to the idea of a flat Earth today. Ever since he broke up with his girlfriend, he hasn't.
Yeah, this music's going to be a bugger all the way through this.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. Basically, my girlfriend Brianna, she recently became a flat earther.
Yeah, I'm worried about the music.
Maybe mute it and turn on the captions.
Yeah, but then we'd have to read it all the time.
Well, yeah, there is a downside.
That's the downside.
That does sound generic.
And because I wasn't a flat earther, she decided she wouldn't want to be with me. But, sorry. And so,
well, that's all this. I think basically we'd all seen the bit up to that. So is there anything after that?
Literally out of nowhere, it gets really windy, and our toilet paper is not staying on the ground.
It'll work, guys, it'll work.
The wind is destroying the whole experiment. It's like nothing's on our side anymore.
What have they got the toilet paper for?
Okay, seriously, I'm about to lose it. I'm getting pissed. I've done years of research for this. We drove all the way from Boston. My girlfriend dumped me 3 fucking days ago.
Stupid.
Honestly, you're doing a great job. You can't give up. A lot is riding on this.
Wait, what's wrong with Blade?
He's been through a breakup. Dude, he always does this. But then out of nowhere, Nathan makes a new discovery.
If we rock it up every 5 feet or so.
If we place small rocks on the toilet paper, it prevents the wind from blowing it away.
Dude, I'm professional at unrolling toilet paper, just so you know.
Obviously, everything was going really rough, and I look over and I see Ben and Nathan just working seamlessly together.
Flat earther and a round earther, team working together, making it to the moon together.
I figured out this new rock formation to keep the toilet paper down. It looks like I just got to go join the team. We got to get this done. I'm embarrassed.
What good ways, Rod?
It's just laughable that Nathan went through all this with these guys.
Turn the captions on, they're just getting in the way. Off, sorry. Turn the captions off, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I knew you meant one or the other.
And then from what they are, flip the caption switch. It only has 2 positions.
That's all you got to do right there. Show me the curve.
The Earth is a freaking sphere. We have all the evidence on my phone. So there are 2 very smart scientists on both ends making really good points.
If the Earth's a ball, it would curve. It's not curving, so I just had to go with the facts, dude.
It definitely looks like we're on a ball. But then Blake ends up bringing up a really good point.
We're like 2 inches off the ground. It's not going to show anything. Look, I did way more work than you had to do. Look.
Yeah, I know. Guys, I don't understand how folding something is going to make it taller. Look, it obviously got shorter the more we folded it. It went from a mile to half a mile to quarter mile to 6 inches tall.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know.
We tried as hard as we could on the toilet paper experiment. We gave it our best. If there was no wind, I think we could have done it. Also, can I just get confirmation that you're not going to use a clip of me crying? I really don't want that.
I could show you videos of me crying on the internet if it makes you feel better.
I would love to see that.
I'll show you.
Feel better.
One of it was over my girlfriend drinking blood. So.
She drank blood?
Yeah, and was lying to me about it.
Why was she drinking blood?
Because weird people do weird things, dude.
Was she must have been weird?
Well, she was convinced that when you become a Christian, you have the blood of Jesus.
Oh, are you talking about wine?
No, she was poking her finger and drinking the blood from it. So.
But she's not Jesus. That's not Jesus.
She isn't. Exactly. Yeah, I agree. It's just her blood, and it's already in her body, so why would she need to take it out and put it back in?
Next week on the Travel Channel's Flat Earth. We're going to put one magnet here in California,
Yeah. I think we'll have to put a link for that for people. It's over in Discord for that. But there is an interview out there with the guys that did this. Somebody's interviewed them. That's something I should have maybe looked for. Oh well.
I'd like to reply to one desk comment. Why doesn't the algorithm block flirts?
Don't
Yeah,
know
I
that
know,
one.
but remember, it does put that big thing about flat Earth being an archaic thing under anything that's got flat Earth in the title or the description.
I missed a comment on
At least it does.
Brimfondle.
At least it does come with a public service announcement.
Brimfondle said we should have done the voices on the captions.
Yeah, that would have been funny.
Fred's tagged me, Irish Demon. What? Irish Demon's in the chat? I didn't see him.
So I don't think that they should block them at all. I think it's nice to know who the idiots are.
Well, yeah. I think the thing that gets put under everything that's related to flat Earth is kind of.
I've got no problem with those sort of tags as long as they're appropriately used. There's some I don't like, but it's always going to be the case. But yeah, I'm not so keen on shutting people down unless they're doing something that's dangerous or violent.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the biggest
serious
problems,
danger, not.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest problems is like looking at all the videos that Miles Power had removed by YouTube because he was actually pointing out the really dangerous crap that YouTube was leaving on there about COVID and what the people were saying and how it was wrong and bad. And his videos were getting taken down while these people's were still left up there.
Yeah, it sucks that if you try and post a video that refutes a particular piece of arsehattery, especially like the COVID stuff, you get they take you down for spreading misinformation or promoting the topic that you're actually tearing down. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect that there's too much faith goes into the outputs of their algorithms.
Yeah, but yet it leaves the videos that they're actually talking about up there.
Well, a lot of those only get a handful of views, so they don't really get weighted into the algorithms all that hard. Whereas if you've got a debunker channel where you've got a couple of thousand followers who are watching your videos all of the time, it prioritizes your content for review.
I suppose so.
Honestly, nobody cares about what's said in a video that gets 5 views in 2 years.
Good point.
Especially when those 5 views are probably the people who are watching it to debunk.
Yeah. Yeah. Or they uploaded themselves to make sure it actually uploaded properly.
Oh God, I wanted to check comments on my one video that I've uploaded. I just wanted to look and see if I had any comments, and I didn't know how to use the control panel or anything. So I opened my video up a couple of times, so probably half the views on that video are from me.
Yeah, that's like.
Well, keep doing it 1,000 times, Monk, and you'll get 1,000 views.
Yeah. Phone call.
Obviously, I need to write a script and push it out to all my client PCs. I've got 3,500 client devices in my RMM. I'm sure I could get them all to run my video.
Yeah.
No worries.
All right. You ready
well,
for some other stuff?
I was just going to say, you could have still filled in air for another 2 minutes and 51 seconds, but...
If you want me to talk crap for 2.5 minutes, just let me know.
That's what I was. That's why. That's why I was silent, for letting you and Alan just have a bit of a conversation for a couple of minutes.
Why do you need 2 minutes and 51 seconds, Terry?
Well, then I could have brought it up to the 2-hour live mark for the streaming times. Try to keep everything in blocks of time for what's going on.
So your schedule's running perfectly.
We'll try to.
Yeah. Well, tonight I haven't really sort of got derped so much. It's just strange musical instruments, you know. I thought,
potatoes and pumpkins. Is there any potatoes and pumpkins and carrots?
No. Although I did come across a fruit orchestra.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking.
But I didn't put that in.
Oh, okay.
So I just thought I'd had a bit of a look around and found some weird musical instruments. There's an absolute shit ton of them on the internet. So I just picked some good examples of each. Like there's about 1 million strange looking guitars on there, you know. But yeah.
Well, who hasn't built a shoebox guitar at school or whatever it was with a rubber band?
Yeah, well, I mean, there are guitars of all sorts of shapes and sizes and all sorts of configurations there. You think of it, it's probably already been built by someone else, you know.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah,
we've got a news flash out there. Out in the peanuts. Blue.
What's the news flash?
Who's flashing the peanuts?
Blue's flashed us with a news flash. Hey guys, I'll have a video up on Finish in 30 minutes or so.
Oh, I've got cramp in my leg. Okay, here we go. Okay, so here's a strange guitar. You must admit that is rather strange.
How do you? Do you crossing the strings?
I don't know which direction you'd strum. Yeah, I don't know which direction you'd strum it.
Every which way.
Well, it looks like there's 2 6 strings and 1 6 string and two 12 strings.
12 strings.
On that.
Plus he's got
I think
what looks like a harp arrangement at the back.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Looks like it's playable.
It would be interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit worried about that crossover of the 12 string and the 6 string, but
yeah, they wouldn't be touching.
I'd love to know the stresses on the top plate. It'd want to be one good bit of wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, as if you haven't got enough guitars there to play.
Nice.
You're just one big long strum. Yeah. You have all of them with an open tuning of a different chord. Yeah. Yep. I thought this was interesting. Looks like it's made of brass or something. Yeah. Very, very. Speaking of brass, the house I'm doing up had an old brass chandelier, sort of like candelabra thing hanging from the roof, and it looked like it needed a bit of tender loving care and whatever not. And my niece said that if I didn't want it, she liked it and she would have it. And I said, oh no, I think I'll polish it up. So my mum polished it up. She went online to see if there were any similar items, and she found one exactly the same and found out it was worth $4,500. Yeah. Wow.
And the person that wanted it came back to you and said, yeah, I really, really want it.
Yeah. And I said, no thanks. I'll have that. Yeah. Here you go. You've got a bit of PVC pipe laying around the joint where you can make yourself a musical instrument.
What, like a didgeridoo?
Yeah.
Or you could do something like the Blue Man Group.
Yeah, I'm going to say that looks like the biggest oboe in the world to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the keys that he's pressing lift covers off the holes placed at
All the
certain
way down.
intervals along it. So yeah.
Be interesting
Be
to hear what it
interesting.
sounded like. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably so low that it's close to the brown note.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a frog on it.
Yeah. Yeah. Finger piano.
Oh, it's not a frog piano.
Interesting little device. You could make any sort of configuration of that sort of thing. Yeah. This thing, I forget what it's called, but it's got strings, obviously like spokes, and it rotates. Okay, and as it rotates, the strings are tuned in a certain way, and it's supposed to sound like harmonics of the wind. It's supposed to sound like the wind as that drum rotates. So it's not an actual. You don't play a tune on it. It just sort of plays a sort of repeating rhythm as it rotates, but you can't control what notes it actually plays other than by tuning the strings in different ways.
Yeah, you got short strings and long strings from that disc
Yeah.
in the middle of their hole.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
What?
What the heck is that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No idea. It's a turbocharged organ. I don't know. I have no idea what it does.
Made from spare rocket engine parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like it would go well on the set of a 60s science fiction movie.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. This instrument, which obviously needs two people to actually play it.
Oh, it's not a scene from Ghost.
No. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how it actually works, what it actually does. You obviously got a bow there that plays the strings. But then what are the spoon shaped, like the keys that he presses there? What do they do? I have no idea. Unless
it looks like they trap the strings with the
it could
pegs that
be.
pop up there.
Okay, so it's like frets in reverse.
Yes,
Instead of you pressing the string down on the fret comes up and shortens the string.
Yeah.
They kind of look like bones, but you'll see there's like 3 of them are held down.
Yeah.
So it's not so much a press them down and hold, but change the configuration of them to alter the sound.
Yeah. Mm.
Wow.
Interesting.
Weird.
Yeah.
Okay. Did their trumpet have an accident?
Yeah.
It's partly an infinity symbol.
It's an interesting resonant chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like somebody got sick and tired of trying to lug around an alpenhorn.
Yeah. Yeah. And this thing, well, I mean, it's sort of like a pipe organ, but
But it's played with flip-flops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thongs.
Yeah. So you hit the end of the tube, which excites the resonant note inside the tube. Yeah. Yeah.
Very alien looking.
Yeah. Now that's one big long horn.
What?
I know they have big horns like this up in the Swiss Alps and stuff like that. But I'm not sure whether they're quite this big, but I know they do have big long horns like this that are supposed to excite.
It's hard to get a sense of scale, but that thing looks like it's about 12 feet long.
Yeah, I've seen now. I when I was a kid, I visited Switzerland, and some of the really big alpenhorns get that size, but I think normally they go up to sort of a couple of meters.
Yeah. These things are cool. I want one of these. It's called a hand drum, and those dimples on the side.
Each one's a different size with a different note.
Yeah, it's not so much that the actual things are different sizes. I looked into the way that these things are manufactured, and it's quite complex the way they're manufactured. It's all made from one bit of metal, except the bottom bit and the top bit are separate, but the top bit's all one bit of metal, and they stress it and they heat it and stretch it in such a way that each section of it plays an entirely different note. So depending on where you hit it, it plays a different note, which I think is really clever in the way that the resonance of each different part of the top part is quite different depending on how you heat treat and stress the metal to make that section of it. Yeah,
Well, it's awesome watching them played as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially how you tune the
amazing.
drum, isn't it? You change the tension in the skin, and I guess that's exactly what they do with the steel. But because of the nature of steel, you can stress different bits of it differently.
Yeah, that's right. And the way the dimples are formed and stuff like that is very important as well. Now everyone knows what this is.
Is that
Don't
one of
you?
those things that Sheldon played?
Oh yeah, I know what that is. It's
God, what are they called?
Theremin.
Theremin.
That's right. It's a theremin.
Yeah, isn't it one of those things that Sheldon played?
Yeah, that's right.
That's the noise.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of the end song for Portal.
Yeah, I think these came into vogue on Star Trek, is it? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there was a fairly big name in pop that used them, wasn't there? Had several hits. Certainly had several hits in the UK.
Yeah. Moog make them, and you can buy your own theremin kits to manufacture, and quite a lot. I had a look online, and there's quite a lot of channels online that'll teach you how to make them, and how to make good ones, how to make cheap ones, how to make them using valves and solid state ones, and all sorts of things. Yeah, you can basically create your own.
Yeah,
but they all have the frequency antenna and the volume antenna.
Dave N in the side chat said Doctor Who theme.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Doctor Who theme, yeah.
Yeah. And this is the Badgerman.
Badger.
Yeah, it's the theremin in the form of a badger.
He looks a little bit sad.
Yeah.
I think so would I.
Yeah.
See if they'd done that with a what are those things that make dams? Big flat tails. Beaver. There you go. You could hide the whole volume loop in the tail.
Yeah. Now, do you know what this is? If you can read, you'll know what it is.
It's an organ of some sort.
No. It's kind of. It's a pyrophone. Now, what does the word pyro mean?
Fire.
Yeah. This is literally an organ that runs on explosions.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you get big flames out the top of it then?
You do, yes.
This isn't music, it's engineering.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, exactly.
You didn't have
it literally runs on methane or gasoline. Yeah.
Wow.
And
no
it
one's
literally
built one?
has explosions. Yeah.
Need to build one.
I want
in a
one.
controlled manner, of course, you know. But that would be fun to play, I reckon. That would be fantastic.
We have to show this to Crash.
Yeah, yeah. I've got to find a YouTube video of one being played. That would be awesome. Yeah. And this I thought looked interesting. I don't know what it is, but it looks interesting.
It looks like some sort of lute, doesn't it?
Yeah, some sort of
Yeah.
stringed instrument. Yeah. Mm.
Now you can see the frets, but
Yeah, and the
Yeah, it's
tuning
interesting.
and the tuning knobs up the top. Yeah, yeah,
it looks like it's only got a couple of strings, but
yeah. And this is
Bells.
a chime bells. Yeah, yeah, bells.
You're going to run a long way between that one and that one.
Yeah,
that's why they have those
right.
big long sticks for hitting them with.
Yeah, yep, yeah.
Not so much
And all-
playing it as in dancing.
Yeah, and every time you play it, all the cows come home. Yeah, this is the glass harp.
Nice.
So it's like wine glasses stacked inside each other, and that rotates. It's got a motor that rotates it, and you basically just put your fingers on it, and it plays. I've also seen a similar, not similar, but the same sort of concept where you actually have literal wine glasses glued down to a base and filled with the right amount of water to tune them. And I've seen all sorts of like toccata in D minor played on such an instrument. Fantastic, quite intriguing. Yeah,
Because the crystal sound is just amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
What the hell?
Yeah, what the hell? Yeah. You'd want to be fit to play that.
You're going to blow as hard as you can move your fingers.
Yeah, you just can't sing while you're playing it.
It's
Or you can.
compound music meets Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, yeah.
That's just an example of how much shit went wrong in the 1960s.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they had this great explosion of new and interesting drugs.
Uh-huh.
Is
Yeah.
his face red, or has he just been playing for a while?
Yeah, yeah,
I don't think I could puff my cheeks up that high.
yeah. That would be an instrument to play. I mean, Jesus, how many different stops
Yeah.
are there on that you
Yeah.
change? Oh my God.
Not to mention 7 full keyboards
Yeah, yeah.
and all the pedals.
And all the pedals. Yeah, exactly. That would be something to hear, I reckon. Yeah,
I wonder which cinema that's in.
yeah. That looks interesting too.
Yeah, that's a machine with a distinct identity crisis for sure.
It's a harp that thinks it's a guitar, or possibly the other way around.
Or it's
Or
a
the other way
guitar that
around,
wants
yeah.
to be a harp.
Yeah.
Oh, you'll have to explain this one.
Okay. What
This
does
is
the thing
driven
at
by
the
water, isn't it?
No, it's not. What does the thing at the top look like if you're looking down on top of it? This is looking from above.
A water wheel.
It's not yet. It's
Anemometer.
an anemometer.
Anemometer,
Yeah. Yeah. So the wind drives that around,
okay.
and the wind rotates the wheel, and it's like a hurdy-gurdy. It rotates the wheel and rubs the strings and plays a not a tune, more or less a harmony, I guess you could say, on the strings. So it's like wind chimes, except a different way. Instead of hitting the wind, rattling the chimes, it spins the anemometer, which rotates the wheel, which vibrates the strings and makes a sound. That I thought was quite clever, the way that they've shaped this musical instrument in the form of a treble clef. Yeah. I thought that was quite
how
clever.
they make the strings go around the corner.
Probably.
Is it a triple double bass?
Yeah.
Can't imagine you'd get a whole lot of sound out of that thing, but whatever.
Yeah.
I feel like there might be some Photoshop involved.
Yeah. This is a Moog guitar. So you've got a whole heap of electronics in the back of it. So a little bit different.
Those guys at Moog, they just don't know when to leave enough alone.
Yeah, yeah.
Are those lasers?
Yes, this is a light harp. A light harp, so you interrupt the laser beams to play the instrument. Yeah.
Pretty.
Interesting, yeah.
Does refraction go into it? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Atmospheric lensing.
Is that a harpsichord?
No.
No, it's not a harpsichord. It looks like...
Because let's face it, a harpsichord literally plucks the strings, and that looks like that could have a harpsichord mechanism inside it to pluck what's there.
Well, it could be
But
like
if
an
it's,
upright
if it's
piano
hammering,
mechanism.
then it's yeah. If it's hammering, then it's a grand piano stood on its side.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's a space-saving grand piano.
Just without the resonance cavity,
Yeah, yeah, or the soundboard. Yeah.
It doesn't look anything like a grand piano.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, there's your finger glasses.
Yeah, this is a cheaper version of it, a street version. Yeah.
No power required.
No. Just lick your fingers every now and then to keep them wet, I suppose.
No, that's what the little...
Yeah.
That's why you dip in one of the glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's all I had for you for that. So I didn't have a lot of time to create a lot of them, but there were some interesting ones there.
Yes,
like I said, there is heaps more on the internet, but that was just a selection of some of them. Okay. All right.
And now we're going to get you to play every single one of them for next week.
What's that?
Yeah.
I said
Next time we want to see them all in action.
Yeah, we want to see them all being played next week.
Except for the badger.
Right.
Let's leave the poor badger.
Yeah. Yeah. I've got a cat here I could play. Well, he played me the other night. I left my back door open and I laid down on my bed. Next minute, I hear a cat fight going on in my kitchen. Some other bastard cat had come in and started eating the food, and my cat had found out. They were out growling at each other on the driveway. So I went out, and there was my cat in the middle of the driveway, just crouched down growling. I thought, I'll get you. And I went to grab him and bring him inside, but he was in the zone. He didn't care who was grabbing him. He was going to fight. So I grabbed him, and it was like, when he's claws went and scratched my hand, and yeah, little bastard, yeah. All right, let's get a quiz going, hey? Here we go. Are you ready for 20
I don't know.
questions?
You've got to check Alan to make sure he hasn't got the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm in the right. I'm in the correct chat.
Hang on, let me get the chat up. There we go.
Yeah, internal one, not external one.
Yep, I'm on it.
All right. Now, like as always, there are 5 categories of questions. We've got physics, we've got chemistry, we've got biology, we've got astronomy, and we've got geology, or earth sciences. And there's a range of questions. There's some short answer ones, there's some multiple choice ones, there's some harder ones, and there's some really easy ones.
Oh,
So,
good. You included some for me then.
We'll start the hard ones.
The really easy ones.
No, the really easy ones, Monk, for me.
The hard ones and the easy ones really depend on your point of view of whether you know the answer.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on your area of expertise, I suppose. Like, if you're a PhD in physics, then you'll probably find the physics ones all fairly easy.
And if there's none of them in your area of expertise, that's even harder.
My area of expertise didn't come up on the list, so let's do it.
And if you've been to Harvard, you'll know everything about ducks. So if there's any duck questions, you'll be right.
No, they were from Harvard.
Yeah, Harvard.
we know Nathan, so we're
all
right with
that. Yeah. Let's get going then. Here is one to think about. How much do you know about batteries? Hey, here you go. Right, the potential drop between the terminals of a battery is equal to the battery's EMF, that's electromotive force, when what? When no current is drawn from the battery, or when a very large current is drawn from the battery, or when the internal resistor of the battery is very large, or when the resistance in the external circuit is small. So under what circumstances is the voltage across the terminals of a battery the same as the battery's EMF? Any ideas? I'll let you go for a little bit and then I'll give you a hint or two.
Oh, three of them out there in here are already fired quick, rapid.
Yes, they're on to that one, aren't they? They must think this is an easy one.
Yeah.
And we've got some answers out in the peanuts too. So I will give the clue. If you know anything about circuit analysis, you'll know what's happening here. In that every battery has an internal resistance in it. And in any resistance, when you draw current through a resistance, there's a potential drop, or you'll have a voltage loss across that resistance. So the larger the current through that internal resistance, the larger the voltage drop will be across that internal resistance, leaving less available across the terminals of the battery. And the only time that there'll be no voltage drop across that internal resistance is when there is no current being drawn through it. So answer A is in fact the correct answer. Well done, everyone. I'm impressed.
I'm glad I didn't waste my 3 years at university doing a degree in electronic engineering.
Good. Yeah. Yeah. So well
my
done,
first
everyone.
career
That
was as an electrician,
impressive.
so
Yep. Good.
so that's my one question. There we go.
And if you got
Well
the
done,
answer
Alan.
wrong, now you know what the real answer is. Okay, question 2. The horse latitude. I still don't know why they call them horse latitudes. The horse latitude, which occurs at approximately 30 to 35 degrees north, is also known as the what? Is it the doldrums, the calms of Cancer, the calms of Capricorn, or the trough of the Pacific?
We seem to have a lot of
Yeah.
variation on this one, don't we?
Yes, we've got almost every answer. Almost.
There's no consensus.
Yeah. So we will give you a clue. Okay, so if you have a look
I
at the
was
clue,
wrong.
you should be able to eliminate answer A, because the doldrums is the calm winds at the equator, not at the 30 to 35 degrees. And you'll notice that the 30 to 35 degrees is where roughly, not exactly, of course, you'll find the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, they of course occur at what was it, 20 something point something degrees. I can't remember exactly what it is now. but yeah, and the northern one is the Tropic of Cancer, and the southern one is the Tropic of Capricorn. And so this would be the Calms of Cancer, being the northern one. The Calms
I could
of
never
Cancer.
get those two straight. It's 50,
Yeah.
90 rule.
Mm. Yep. Okay. Question 3. Which of the following first hypothesized that the Earth orbited the Sun? Now, come on, you've had enough flat Earth discussions that you should know the answer to this one. So who was it that first hypothesized that the Earth orbited the Sun? Was it Alexander the Great? Was it Copernicus? Was it Socrates or Socrates? Or Tycho Brahe? Which one? Looks like the peanuts are right on to this one. And of course, it was...
I'm with Blue.
What?
It was Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone. Yeah.
Predates
It
all of
was,
those.
Yeah, it was, of course, Copernicus. Okay.
I thought one of the ancient Greeks had gone for
No.
sun at the centre, but was kind of ignored.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to follow that one up. But it wasn't Alexander the Great, that I know.
And it wasn't Fred Flintstone.
No. Okay, question 4. What is the name of the point on a phase diagram which indicates the temperature above which a gas cannot be converted to a liquid? In other words, no matter how much pressure you put on it, it's not going to become a liquid. For those of you that don't know what a phase diagram is, a phase diagram is a diagram that has pressure along one axis and temperature along the other axis. And it shows the regions whereby any substance will be solid, liquid, or gas under those conditions. For instance, under low pressures and high temperatures, a lot of substances are gases. Under high pressures and low temperatures, a lot of substances are solids or liquids. And depending on the change of the pressure or the temperature or both, they transition amongst those 3 different phases.
That was a clue, wasn't it?
Huh?
That was a clue, wasn't it?
It was. And for those of you that needed more of a clue, here is an actual phase diagram showing those regions. I remember in one question before we talked about the triple point, where you can get all 3 phases at the one temperature and pressure. So all 3 phases coexist at the triple point. But this is not the point we're after now. It's not the sublimation point. It's not the triple point. We've got one person who knows what it is in the internal chat. The baby bear phase.
The ain't gonna happen point.
No. Yeah. And if you're capable of reading that diagram, you'll see that there's a point. If you follow that blue line up, that's the boundary between the liquid phase and the vapor phase. There is a point where that blue line ends, and it's called the critical point or the critical temperature. Okay?
They've got it.
Above that temperature, above that temperature, it's just too hot. No matter what pressure you put on it, it's not going to be a liquid. Okay.
Well, at least I managed to get a point that's on the graph, so it's
yeah. Good. Okay. Question 5, which would be biology. The part of the human brain, which is an important relay station for the sensory impulses and also is the origin of many of the involuntary acts of the eye, such as the narrowing of the pupil in bright light, is the what? Is it the hypothalamus? Is it the midbrain? Is it the corpus callosum? Or is it the cerebellum? How well do you know your brains? So it's asking for which part of the brain basically controls the pupil of your eye. Okay, we've got a correct answer so far. I'll give you a hint for the people that need one. It's a pretty easy hint.
I think you're confused between hint and answer.
Yeah.
Hey, for me it's a clue.
It's a pretty, I'd say it's a blatant hint. It is, of course, the midbrain, and it's actually used quite a lot in first responders, you know, like ambulance people that have to assess the conscious state of people. They'll look at their pupils, and the way that the pupils react gives an indication of which parts of the brain are either functioning or may be damaged. Pupil response in particular gives you an indication of whether the midbrain is functioning or not. So the correct answer was the midbrain. Okay. Question 6. You all know the answer to this one. The Michelson interferometer was designed to study the nature of what? Water waves, sound waves, an ether, or sunlight? This would be classed as an easy question.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, easy to read.
Yep.
No tricky words.
Even the flat earthers would get this one right.
Oh, they're smarter than me.
I think I'm thinking of the wrong bit of kit from Michelson.
You may not be.
With the answer that I've given. Because I just didn't want to have to use it. So
And if you do need a hint,
oh, that
or an
Michelson,
answer.
that Michelson bloke.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Good. Pleased.
Yeah. I was thinking of the one where he was looking for the photons, the angle of the photons coming from the sun down the pipe thing.
Yeah, that's what. When you answered the way you did, that's what I thought too.
Because I'm pretty sure that was a Michelson experiment as well.
Well, going by the clue, I'll answer that letter.
But that's definitely the.
Well, once you add Morley in there.
Yeah,
once you put Morley's name in there, it's pretty simple to figure it out.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, that's what they used. It was an interferometer designed by Michelson, but Michelson and Morley were the people that carried out the first experiment. But it's known as the Michelson interferometer. And of course, it was to measure the effect or look for the effects of an ether on the propagation of light, which of course they didn't find. Okay,
Because there isn't
question 7. The lag time between precipitation period and peak discharge period of a river is what? Is it increased by urbanization? Is it decreased by urbanization? Is it shorter for large drainage basin than for a small one? Or does it depend upon the hydraulic heads? Okay, so what they're talking about is you have a storm and it rains and the rain pelts down, and sometime later the river rises to a peak level and has its peak flow. There's a lag time between when it rains and when the river reaches its peak. So which of those statements is true about that lag time? A little bit of reasoning should give you the answer to this one.
I would have thought that there are potentially more than one right answer there.
Well, you'll have to explain that one.
I kind of agree. My answer is wrong, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I kind of agree
Let's see what your answer is.
Increased by urbanization or decreased by urbanization, one of those seems likely to be true. But the
Well,
question
seeing as they're the polar opposite, if one's true, then the other one's false.
Unless urbanization has zero effect on it, there is a third option there. But C or D, I don't know what D actually
that's
means.
when you'd wait for that's when you'd wait for the clue, which you now can peruse and see.
Again, you seem to have a confusion over the meaning of this word clue.
Well, you need to know how to read a graph. So it kind of eliminates answer C and D, doesn't it?
It does.
Yeah. I mean, answer C is obviously wrong, because you've got to imagine that in a large drainage basin, there would be an increased lag time, not a decreased lag time. Yeah.
Not necessarily true.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some data on that.
Also, wouldn't increasing the hydraulic head increase the flow rate, which would, of course, reduce the lag. That was it was the choice between B and D that was like.
Yeah, I mean, to me, B is kind of like the obvious correct answer.
Yeah, it is,
because it takes water a lot less time to run over asphalt and concrete than it does to run through and over natural ground. Yeah,
and it also does get channeled through storm drains and such.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Rapidly.
And of course, rivers also, and even if the storm is not in an urbanized area, because of what we do to manage rivers in urban areas.
Yes.
The discharge rate.
That's
time goes down.
That's the whole basis for our governments anyway. Locally, will force you to build detention ponds when you put in a development of some sort, just to give the runoff a place to hang out for a while, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, they screwed up our storm drain system. There's some sort of backflow happened last time we had some flooding, and there were a whole bunch of houses that had stormwater coming up through their sewage lines.
Oh goodness.
Yeah,
that is not optimal.
That is
no.
When you've got sewage coating the ceiling of your toilet. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, I grew up on a
Backflow
farm.
rate
And the,
was just insane.
yeah, I grew up on a farm, and the land around is reasonably flat, and there's a number of local swamps around the area, and generally the water, on one side of the slope runs into one swamp, and on the other side gently runs into the other swamp. There's a fairly big swamp behind our property, and another swamp, it'd be about 10 kilometres away, and the ridge in between. One of the farmers just across the other side of the ridge decided to put a massive big bank up to stop the water flowing across his crops, and it pushed the water, let the water build up enough that it would flow over the ridge instead of into the swamp on that side, and all the water came to our way and just flooded the whole land and the swamp. And it's just ridiculous. And we had the situation where the guy was patrolling his bank with shotguns because there were people threatening to blow it up with dynamite and all sorts of things like that. So yeah, it became quite a nasty situation. So question 8, name the outer boundary of the sun's magnetic field. So the limits of the sun's magnetic field, what do we call that? The sun's magnetic field does extend for quite a large distance, a lot further than what you think. All right, we have a correct answer somewhere. I won't say where because it'll give away what the correct answer is. Which I have already done by saying that it would give away where the correct answer is. So there is the clue. I mean, the answer.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you're correct, folks. It is called the heliopause. The heliopause is the limit of the sun's magnetic field.
Is it the magnetic field or is it the charged particle outflow?
Yeah, which is kind of limited because what happens is that beyond the heliopause, you have the pressure from the interstellar plasma sort of pressing against the solar wind, and it's the point where the it's not the point where the solar wind stops. That's called the termination boundary. And the heliopause is actually beyond that. So it's more to do with the magnetic field, the change in direction of the magnetic field than it is to do with the charged particle flow.
It's huge.
Yeah, it is. It's a very great
impressive.
Yeah. Yep. And further out than the heliopause is something that they call the bow shock, which is sort of like the shock wave of the sun moving around the galactic center. Okay, question 9. This chemical element, you've got to try and guess. I'm going to give you a number of clues here and then a picture. You'll get it by the end of the clues, I hope. This chemical element is a silver white metal with a bluish tinge, capable of taking a high polish. If you think you know what it is, say so. If you don't, you can wait for the next worded clue. Because, of course, there are a number of metals that take on a high polish, but not all of them have a bluish tinge. Okay, the next worded clue is this element occurs abundantly in all ordinary rocks except limestone and sandstone.
It's not what I thought then.
Okay, so it's not silver and it's not platinum and it's not sodium. It's definitely not plutonium. Plutonium doesn't occur naturally. Or cobalt. This element is third in abundance of the elements in the Earth's crust. All right, we're starting to get some good answers. The atomic number of this element is 13. Well, and if you know your periodic table, you should know it by now. Dirt. Dirt isn't a metal, Dave. It's not iron. Iron is well up the periodic table. It's not 13.
Also red.
Yeah. All right, so we've got some correct answers internally and externally. This next one should give it away what it is. This element is used to make drink cans. Come on, everybody knows what it is by now. Yeah. And there's a picture of it. It is, of course, aluminium, or as the people who say it incorrectly, aluminum.
No, that would be the people that landed guys on the moon say it.
Yeah, right.
Yep, it's amazing how they landed people on the moon and they still can't pronounce aluminium correctly.
Yeah.
We got all the way to the moon by mispronouncing aluminum.
All right, question 10. This disease caused by infection with the gram-negative Yersinia pestis is transmitted by fleas from rats to humans. What is the more common name for this disease? And I'll accept any of two common names. You should know what this one is. This is a reasonably easy question too. So, Blue, is what Alan said a disease, is it? Itchiness. All right. Yes, we've got some correct answers there. Here's an image of someone who actually has it.
Not a recent photo then.
Oh, there are still cases of it popping up in the world, especially in China.
Yeah, but how would we know?
Mm. And of course, it is the Black Plague or the Black Death or the bubonic plague. Yeah. Good. Okay, question 11. Yeah. Bit of physics here. An X-ray photon collides with a free electron, and the photon is scattered. During this collision, there is conservation of what? Is it momentum but not energy? Is it conservation of neither momentum or energy? Is it energy but not momentum? Or is it both momentum and energy? Bonus marks for anyone who knows what the name of this effect is too. No, Vroomfondle, it's not the photoelectric effect. Photoelectric effect is when a photon collides with a bound electron, and the photon has enough energy to release the bound electron. This is a photon colliding with a free electron. Oh, good. We have someone who knows what the name is, and we've got a few people who know what the correct answer is too. It's called the Compton effect or Compton scattering. It's when a photon collides with the free electron, and it is an elastic collision, which means that the momentum and energy are conserved. And because of that, some of the energy is transferred to the electron and it moves away with a higher momentum, a higher kinetic energy, leaving less energy with the photon. And so, of course, the wavelength of the photon changes. So the scattered photon has a different wavelength, a different frequency. And they typically do this with X-rays. There you go. So the answer is D. Both momentum and energy are conserved. Well done for those people that got that. Question 12. Which of the following does not affect sea level change? So all of these things affect sea level change except for one. Is it the Antarctic ice sheet melting? All right. Is it the small glaciers and ice caps melting? Is it the Arctic sea ice melting? Or is it the Greenland ice sheet melting? Which one of those things does not affect sea level change?
Geez, I hope you're not following me, Terry. I'm leading you down the wrong path.
Oh, well, in that case, I guess we're all going for the wrong answer.
Planar warming. All right, Dave Cannabis has changed his answer to C. Okay, volcanic activity is not one of the options. Okay. Okay. Here's a hint. You notice that one of those is missing from that diagram. And the one that's missing, is the Arctic sea ice. Because the Arctic sea ice is ice that's floating in water. And when you have
it's
ice
displacing the same amount.
Exactly. When it melts, it displaces, it's the same volume as the water that it originally displaced. So it doesn't change the sea level when that ice melts. It's only the ice that melts that's not in the water originally that changes the level of the water. And that would be in the Antarctic because it's on the land, in Greenland because, again, it's on land, and same thing with the glaciers and mountain ice caps. They're on land. So when they melt, they do change the level of the water. But any ice that's floating originally in the water won't change the level of the water when it melts. So it was C, the Arctic sea ice.
If I thought of it as
Question 13. A planet is said to be at aphelion when it is what? Now, please, if you've been watching Lindsay, you'll know what the wrong answer is. Yeah. A planet is said to be at
None of those say
aphelion.
the elliptic.
Yeah, when it is closest to the sun, farthest from the sun, at its highest point above the ecliptic, or at its lowest point below the ecliptic. And that's where you stretch your arms out and wave them backwards and forwards like an aeroplane doing a wing wobble.
And then immediately erase everything.
Yeah. And I think this is a fairly easy one. Most people seem to know this, but here's a diagram showing it anyway, to show that the point where the planet is farthest away from the sun is called aphelion, but it doesn't coincide with the solstices, as you can see in that diagram. Okay, so the correct answer is B, when it's farthest away from the sun. Question 14. All alloys contain this element if they are amalga. The element is what? Is it iron, mercury, gold, or platinum? It's another easy question. Yeah, you're right, Zebulon. That was just a cartoon. Anyone who's had metal fillings, apart from gold ones or silver ones at the dentist, will know what this is, because they use amalgams quite often as a cheap way of putting fillings in your teeth. They don't use them so much anymore because they contain an element which is toxic.
The
to
amalgam
humans.
of the amalgam with aluminium is awesome.
Yeah,
It grows
that's
into
why
interesting shapes.
That's why you're not allowed to take barometers and thermometers that contain mercury onto aeroplanes.
Yeah.
For that reason.
It eats the hull.
Yeah, exactly, because most of the hull of and the frame of planes are made of aluminium.
But it looks
Yeah.
pretty doing it. It's just incredibly hard to stop.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So here's a list of all the kinds of amalgams you can have. And the common thing amongst them is that they all are alloys of mercury. Okay, so you can have silver, gold, zinc, aluminium, tin, sodium, potassium. Okay. The dental amalgams are usually silver amalgams. So the correct answer was B, mercury. Question 15. What 8-letter name starting with the letter O is given to that branch of medical science concerned with the study of tumours?
I'm watching The Good Doctor at the moment, so I know this one.
Or as Arnold would say, it's not a tumour.
Not a tumor.
Not a tumour. I don't think Dots count as letters, Dave. Almost correct, Dave. That's got a few too many letters, though.
Well,
You felt the need to put in an extra letter. That's got 9 in it, Dave, not 8.
We don't usually pick people apart for their spelling.
Yeah.
As long as we understand what the word they're trying to say.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. But when the clue literally says what 8-letter word.
Look, I actually went back and thought, shit, did I spell it right? And at least counted the number of letters that I typed.
Yeah.
But that was only after I hit enter.
I counted them before I hit enter because I was worried.
Obstetrics, children and tumours. Yeah. There's your clue. I think everyone knows this one anyway. The word is, of course, oncology. Okay, oncology. Okay, question 16. The idea that electrons revolved in orbits around the nucleus of an atom without radiating energy away from the atom was postulated by who? Was it Thomson? Was it Bohr? Was it Rutherford? Or was it Einstein?
Wasn't Rutherford more about smashing stuff up?
It was one of the more questionable moments in science when, you know, the big discussion was about, like, of course, that when you accelerate a charge, it radiates energy, okay? And so if you've got an electron literally whizzing around a nucleus, it's obviously accelerating. And they were asking, well, why doesn't the electron radiate away energy and spiral in towards the nucleus and crash into the nucleus? And the literal solution to that problem was, well, it just doesn't.
Lovely.
Yeah, I love that one. You know, well, it just doesn't. Of course, now we know that that's literally not the case, that electrons don't literally move in an orbit around the atom. It's a good model to explain certain features, like, you know, certain spectra and stuff like that. It's got limited usefulness. It doesn't explain everything. But it was an important stepping stone, I guess, to the understanding of the atom.
I guess it helped us get from there to here.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, it's interesting that it was such a useful model, even though it was wrong.
Yeah, well, it could understand the simple spectra emitted by atoms like hydrogen. You know, the Balmer series and the you know, the other series that they had. It could explain what those frequencies and wavelengths were in those transitions to quite a reasonable accuracy too. Of course, we can do it much more accurately now with quantum mechanics. I vote Doctor Who. Scientism. Yeah. And we have lots of answers in the internal chat. And did we have any answers in the peanuts yet? Don't think we had any correct answers there yet. So here is your clue. Or answer.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Accuracy of language is important.
Very good had the right answer. I did John Rapp and Pharaoh and
yeah, good.
Nettle Wolf and Skylar Tanner.
Yeah.
Before it all then degenerated into
yeah. It was the boring model of the atom. I mean the Bohr model of the atom. Yeah, the Bohr model. Yeah. Niels Bohr. Okay, question 17. If all the Earth's ice melted, the increase in sea level would be approximately what? Be 100 meters, 2 meters, 70 meters, 20 meters. How much would the oceans rise if all of the ice on the Earth melted?
higher than it is now.
Oh yeah.
I'm with Terry.
I have to say, from my current position, any rising sea level would be unpleasant because the lane at the end of my garden is at 0 meters above sea level.
Well, none of those answers are good for me because my street level is at 2 meters above. So,
Yeah, but
so they're all bad answers.
And part of my trip to the local supermarket involves me going across an area that's at -1 meter.
Yep.
You'd best invest in a submarine now, Alan.
I just have to hope that the sea never actually breaks through all the dunes down the Norfolk coast here, because if it did, it would be hugely catastrophic.
Do you want to do a GoFundMe for some floaties for your wheelchair thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But people will be walking around like they're in outer space.
Yeah, I'm definitely swampy.
Yeah.
Although, of course, the Dutch came over here in the 16th century and helped us drain them all.
Yeah. There's your clue. Kind of gives it away.
It does.
Yeah, but that clue's in Imperial.
It doesn't
Well, that's
matter.
why this one's a clue, not an answer. There you go.
Yes, there you go. Yep. So the correct answer is C, about 70 meters, which I think is quite amazing. That's a lot.
Yeah, I thought 100 meters was too round.
Yeah, a lot of the world's coastal cities would be in big trouble. Yeah.
Well, they wouldn't be coastal
right.
anymore.
No, they wouldn't be, would they?
Some of them would have, the tops of some of them would be islands.
Yeah.
There'd be a nice little chain of islands along where the current northeast coast of Norfolk is.
There'll be some interesting scuba diving to be done, I suppose. All right, question 18. Which of the following planets has the greatest eccentricity? Pluto, Jupiter, Mars, or Mercury?
Oh, is this a trick question?
Consider them all planets for this question.
Okay, cool.
I know what you're talking about.
It's an old question, isn't it?
Yes,
it's an old question.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson has a problem with this question.
Yeah.
8, not 9.
Wasn't there a push to get it reclassified back to a planet for a while there?
I think there was, but I think if they did that, we'd have an awful lot more planets than just 9, wouldn't we?
Yes.
I believe there's stuff that's not classed as a planet bigger than Pluto out there.
Yeah. Isn't it basically a captured asteroid?
Yeah, I think so. A big one, but yeah, I think so. Something like that.
Yeah, well, when it's also got a moon almost as big as itself.
That's one of the arguments, isn't it? Because it's the barycenter of their orbits is outside of the volume of Pluto.
And I think the main argument though is that it hasn't cleared its orbit of debris.
Right.
Because it's not big enough.
Or it's just really bad at running into shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
But to be
considering
fair,
the time,
it's got a lot further to move than most.
Yeah, I mean, considering the time period that it takes to actually go around, I mean, it hasn't gone around once since its discovery, has it?
Was it like 270 years or something stupid?
Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? It's upwards of 200 years, I think.
Yeah.
160 something years, seems. I don't know.
I think it's well over 200 years.
Longer than I'm going to be around, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And of course, the answer is Pluto, because it's so eccentric, its orbit, that it actually comes inside the orbit of Neptune on occasion. So it ends up being closer to the Sun than Neptune does. It is Pluto.
Right.
Question 19. What was that?
Yeah, I said you're right. 248 years.
Yep. Yep. Question 19. It is believed that carbon-14 in nature is slowly generated by the action of what? Is it protons on carbon-12, electrons on hydrogen, cosmic rays on boron, or neutrons on nitrogen? What makes carbon-14? We've got some people out in the peanuts that know their physics. And here's your answer clue. So what happens is that neutrons collide with nitrogen-14, okay, and then the extra neutron that's in that nitrogen decays into a proton, okay, and so you end up with carbon-14 instead of nitrogen-14. So the correct answer is neutrons on nitrogen. Answer D.
I think there's some of us got C because we knew the bit about the cosmic rays being
just not what they were doing.
Original cause of it.
Yeah. I mean, boron is what? Element 5. You've got to go quite a bit. Yeah. It's a bit of a stretch because cosmic rays.
It is a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, cosmic rays are generally protons at very high speeds, and it's a bit of a stretch to expect a proton to collide with a positively charged nucleus and fuse. You need extremely high temperatures and pressures for that to happen, whereas neutrons, being neutral, can collide quite easily with the nucleus and be absorbed and then decay into a proton once they're in there.
Did you just call neutrons easy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just
Well,
floozies. They'll join up with anything.
Yeah, I was going to say they tend to be easy to throw at stuff, don't they?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, which is the way that they synthesize radioactive elements in reactors and other ways for medical radiation treatments and stuff like that too. Okay, last question 20, a biology one for you. All cells of an organism find their lineage from a single fertilized cell. What is this single fertilized cell called? It's a specific name that we give to that single fertilized cell. Before it divides and becomes two cells, it is known as a what? George. A mummy cell. No, not John Stock, not a stem cell.
They're a little bit further down the division line.
Yeah, that's right. A stem cell is kind of like a cell that can specialize into a number of different kinds of cells. We finally have a correct answer. It is, of course, called a Nathan. No. No. You're correct. First death, and we've got Alan and Monk in the internal chat with a zygote. So before it divides into two, it is called a zygote.
When two gametes love each other very much.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that word. Oocyte.
Egg cell.
Yeah.
Egg cell?
Yeah. Egg cell. Yeah. Is it floating in salty water though? Oh dear.
Because
All right.
the weird double O at the start of that means egg, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So there you go. There is the quiz for the day. There you go. Well done, everyone. I thought quite a lot of people got quite a lot of correct answers on that one. So congratulations. There you go.
Yeah, you could throw a programming question in there just for those of us who have a different.
So we need computer science in there. Is computer science actually a science though?
Well, some people think it is. But no,
Where's
I've never
the
studied it. I just bash on code.
Come on, where's the natural phenomenon being observed?
I was going to say, is computer science a branch of science, a branch of engineering, or a branch of mathematics?
And
Yes,
what's
it
the
is.
independent variable?
I think Monk's answer to that is yes, it is probably actually really good. Because there's a mix of everything. Because computer science does influence.
I guess there are lots of variables there, but you have to declare them all, don't you?
It's the basically computer science is the soap opera of the technical world.
Yeah. Computer science is the cheats way to do maths.
Yeah, that's it.
I was going to say, I think there are some languages that do actually allow undeclared variables, but
yeah. Computer science is the problem. Computer science is the problem-solving method that creates more problems than it solves.
That's it. Yeah, I'm a computer scientist. I can't do calculus, but I can iterate like a bugger.
Yeah. Yep. It's the technology that allows people to make millions of mistakes per second instead of just 1 or 2 per second.
Yep, Moore's law. We can make twice as many mistakes a second now as we could last year.
Yeah, that's right.
Don't use C and then get wild pointers because.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, let's just insert a variable in the operating system somewhere, and then wonder why it crashes the computer every third time you run the program, because 2 times it will run the program and it will run fine. The third time it just takes down DOS.
Well, what I really like is the fact that C is a language that explicitly defines undefined behavior. It's one of the few languages that in its specification says, if you do this, the result is undefined. And then in some of the earlier documents for it, undefined was actually defined as meaning literally anything can happen. We could end up closing down the universe.
Yeah.
Early C developers were an interesting bunch.
Yeah, I'm glad I've never had to code for a living. Yeah, having to do it to get a university degree was hard enough.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of programming or coding myself. Give me a nice big die laser to design and I can do that, or operate a big RLG or anything like that, but not much coding.
That's what I do for a job these days.
Yeah.
When the Muppets I work with haven't screwed up yet another backup. That's great. I used to be on the help desk and handling customers and stuff. I actually don't like dealing with customers most of the time. Code it's so much easier to deal with. Code doesn't shout at you.
At least they speak the same language, don't they?
Yeah. But yeah, so apparently nobody else I work with. I work with about 30 people, and not a one of them seems to have a clue about how to make backups run properly, which is rather distressing to me.
Yeah, I like John Rapp's comment. What about meteorology? What other profession can you be wrong half the time and still keep your job? Yeah.
Well, see, that's a perfect place to apply computer science because they're making mistakes anyway. We might as well speed them up.
Yeah, I will admit in meteorology the computers have do seem to have kind of reduced the number of mistakes the weather people make.
Well, I guess they can get the mistakes out of the way quicker. But yeah, there's an incredible amount of number crunching needed to do even rudimentary traffic weather mapping
and modeling. Yeah.
Yeah, I think also, of course, the development of the computing power has also coincided with the arrival of weather radars and satellites and all the rest of it. So we can more easily see what's coming.
Yeah, it's a pretty hard sort of thing because it's essentially a chaotic system. So, it's pretty hard to pin down and define with any sort of accuracy, really. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was, excuse me, the classic chaos theory description, the chaos butterfly.
Yeah.
It's all about weather systems.
Yeah.
The much maligned chaos butterfly, I must say.
Weather forecasts are pretty solid for about 2 hours into the future, which is why if you're a pilot, you're required to get an updated weather forecast within 2 hours of your departure time. So after that, there's no real guarantee.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Why does
Hello?
Terry suddenly
Hello.
sound like Big Blue?
Hello?
Hello.
What?
Hello?
Why does Terry suddenly sound like Big Blue?
Because I'm great at impersonations. Here, I'll do a impersonation of Alan. Here we go.
Hello? Don't see I'm lining up now.
You got me on that one.
Can you do Paul?
Yeah, I can do Paul too.
Alan, Steve.
Yeah, he can impersonate me quite well too.
I'm still trying to get the hang. I'm still trying to get the hang of blues. I've just got to get that twang right. It's not quite there.
Yeah. Shut up. Hello, guys.
Not to mention those bass notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And be careful. Be careful you don't get stuck like that.
The wind will change direction, and you'll be stuck like that forever.
Yeah.
Speaking of computers, did you ever remember a series, Kenny Everett, Captain Kremen and the Star Corps?
Oh yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I remember when he comes in and he says to Carla, his assistant, he says, "Carla, we've got a new computer. It'll do half our work for us." And she says, "Well, why didn't you get 2 of them?"
I used to listen to that all the time. The only one I can ever remember is Carla,
Kenny
my doctor
Everett
says
video
I can only
show.
have
He
sex
was
on
good.
days with R in them.
Oh, what day is it today, Captain?
Monday.
It's all done in the best possible taste. Different Kenny Everett series, I know. But,
yes.
From between the breasts of Cleo Rogers.
I was chatting to someone the other day from the UK, and they mentioned Metal Mickey.
Metal Mickey? Who's that?
Metal Mickey. Anyone from the UK might know. Come on. Metal Mickey. There's a robot living in a family house.
That was an American series. I mean, the problem was that if it was on the independent television network, that back in those days it was a lot more regional. So I lived in London and got completely different programming to somebody who lived in Norwich who got completely different, and then somebody in Manchester would get completely different programming again.
That different over there.
Yes,
when you're in Australia, all the channels are basically we only had 5 or 6 channels up until frickin' 2000.
Yeah.
Now we've got 80 channels, but it's really only like 10 channels, 10 to 8 times each.
Yeah. No. This was essentially one channel. This was ITV, which is what is now called ITV or channel. Yeah, the third channel, the commercial channel. Because you had BBC One and BBC Two, you had the commercial channel, ITV. But it was broken up into regions, and each region had its own independent television company.
Oh damn!
And they did some national programming, but they also did local programming. So sometimes they
have
buy up a
licensing for
series from the
TV too, right?
States. Yeah, but that only pays for the BBC. And yeah, so
I never got the UK TV thing.
Yeah, it in the 70s and 80s it was a lot more complicated than people realised. I mean, for example, mid 80s I got married. No worries.
Okay, we'll finish up now. We seem to have run to enough time. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thanks Herman Roshkak. He did
Rorschach.
Yeah, that's him.
He looks nothing like his picture.
No.
no, nothing like that.
No. He was the one that did the ink blot tests.
That's
you
it.
know, you look at it and you've got to see a picture or something, and it was supposed to determine your personality.
I only see a duck every time I see them.
My ex-miss is dying. My ex-miss is dying. My ex-miss is dying. Yes, yes, we see
okay.
the point.
Okay. Thanks, Alan. Thanks, Monk. Thanks, Blue. And Blue's got his video out that I was going to show, but we've run out of time. So go and check that out about the Cavendish.
Will do.
Thanks, Death, Little Wolf, Colin. Oh, Colin's there. I didn't see you there just then. Room Fondle. No, that's why I said Room Fondle. I've run out of time. Who else? Skydiver, Tanner, Miro, Zebulon. I have to scroll up here. Little Wolf, Boggs. Scrolling. First Death. John Rapp was out there. Dave N. Okay. If I keep scrolling, I'm just going to repeat names again, as usual. So you can head over to Discord if you just want to continue any conversations or.
Sorry, I
or
thought
just,
that's
or
where
just
we
hang
were.
out.
My sorry if I dropped in.
Yeah, I'm finishing off. So it's good night from me, and it's good night from the Peanuts, and it's good night from the panel.
Good night,
Good night.
Good night, everybody.